Yo everybody, how's it going? Today, we got Upward, we got Spy, but what I really want to discuss is what I think is the best or most consistent beginner Spy loadout. And for the impatient, the loadout is the stock Inviswatch, the L'Étranger, the Spicicle, and the stock Sapper. Let me explain. So basically, Spy is probably the hardest class to learn and play in TF2. The only saving grace is its cloak. In fact, the entire class revolves around cloak. You need cloak to get behind and in position for stabs, and you need cloak to make a clean getaway when things go wrong. Basically, the more cloak you have, the better, and the more cloak you have, the more room for error you have. With that in mind, the stock Inviswatch pick should be pretty obvious due to its 10-second duration cloak. The Dead Ringer in comparison has a 7-second duration cloak, which is a 3-second difference, which is pretty massive in my opinion. Plus with the Dead Ringer you have less control over when you can activate the cloak. First off, you pretty much rely on someone else to activate the cloak via damage. Then when your cloak runs out, you can't use it again until it's fully charged, as opposed to the stock Inviswatch where you can activate its cloak as long as the bar is partially filled. So then what about the Cloak and Dagger? Well, the Cloak and Dagger offers infinite cloak with the big caveat that you can't move. The problem is when you do move, the cloak for the Cloak and Dagger runs out pretty quickly, which greatly limits your mobility and ability to cover ground. As a result, the Cloak and Dagger promotes kind of a rather camping style of play. The downsides for the Dead Ringer and the Cloak and Dagger make them pretty unfriendly for use for beginner spies in my opinion, thus the choice for the stock Inviswatch. Building off the cloak concept, the L'Étranger provides 40% more cloak for the user. That means the 10-second cloak duration becomes 14 seconds, which is huge. In fact, you can cover so much extra ground in 4 extra seconds. Whenever I use another revolver besides the L'Étranger, it always feels like my cloak runs out way too quickly due to me being used to the extra 40% cloak. The downside is the 20% damage penalty, which is considerable, but the upside is still worth it. As long as you're not playing the gun spy versus full HP soldiers and scouts, which you probably won't because you're a beginner, the L'Étranger is still powerful enough to pick off low HP opponents. Continuing with the cloak concept, we have the Spicicle. Now you might ask, how does a Spicicle affect cloak? Simply because the Spicicle has the ability to put out fires and make you immune to afterburn for a short time, with the downside being that you temporarily lose your knife. With this knife, if you're on fire, you can just pop the Spicicle and cloak and give a better chance of getting away from that spy check and pyro. And the knife doesn't take too long to charge up, even less so if you start picking up ammo kits, so you won't be out of the fight for long. And lastly, the stock Sapper. I prefer the stock Sapper because I prioritize destroying teleporters, and the red tape recorder is just too slow for that. So that's pretty much the entire loadout explained. Of course, you still have to go and, play the game and use the loadout correctly. But hopefully for the gamers out there trying to learn the hardest class in the game, this loadout will help you become more consistent in your spy gameplay. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with the points I made, and that's all I got for this topic. The rest of this video is just going to be commentary on the gameplay. This entire game we've pretty much been rolling back the entire team, so we almost got it capped. This soldier comes out, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but he ignores me after I poke him back. They just pick up the 2 stabs. But in this video I've been using the loadout that I talked about, and rest of this clip I'm just going between the first and the second floor and just stabbing anyone who tries to stop the cart from being pushed in. And I'm basically just waiting for my team to push the cart in. I would do it myself, but I only have 125 HP, so better for someone like a soldier or a heavy to do that. Instead, I'll just pick people off who aren't really paying attention. But in a moment, I think we get the cart pushed in. This sniper knows that I'm here, so he has his back to the wall, but it doesn't really matter because I get a lucky crit, and we win the game. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.